What if humans were the ones to invent gods, and God didn't create humans in the first place? Humans evolved to be critical thinkers, and we also were afraid of not being alive anymore, because when our loved ones passed, we got really sad and we wished we could see them again. And so in our emotional thinking, we created the concept that perhaps after we're gone, we still see each other.
I think another thing
I
that
mean, no other animals on Earth have constructed churches and regularly worshipped deities that we can't see. You can't name another mammal or any other species on Earth that has constructed religion the way that humans do. And it's all out of fear.
just a fun fact. This is really out of context, but I think it's cool. Fun fact: chimpanzees have entered the Stone Age. I think that's really cool. I just wanted to share that fact if you guys didn't know it.
Chimpanzees did what?
Chimpanzees have entered the Stone Age in a sense.
Oh, how are they? What is that from? What are you talking about?
In that they were the first animal to use stones as tools. Is that
Yeah.
what you mean?
So they have. I think it's been like I think it was a year or two ago. I read about it. But chimpanzees have been seen using rocks or like.
That's an age. Actually, that's back from the 60s.
Oh,
So
really?
I mean, they do. The chimpanzees definitely use tools, but I'm just saying it back from the 50s and 60s when it used to be that we designated intelligent life as being able to use tools. And then, a few decades after humans were like, we're the only animals that use tools, we witnessed other animals using tools, and then we had to redefine what quote unquote intelligent life meant. It's like so many Christians nowadays who think that animals don't have empathy or souls when we can literally see like elephants mourning their dead and stuff like that.
1 second, Apollon. I wanted to answer your question. Looks like Petty Fog got to, but I wanted to say a dogma is a real bitch. Okay. I'm sorry. Because it's a mom of a dog. It's a mom of a dog, and
Am I too young? I might know what dogma is. Am I too young to know what dogma is?
as Petty Fog elaborated, a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true. But I say a dogma is a real bitch because it's. Blake, you should check out there's these two YouTube channels that I was thinking of because of some of the stuff you're talking about. So one of them is Mindshift. If you haven't seen Mindshift, he's very good because he does a lot of like just elaborating on different questions about Christianity and like dealing with bigger topics. And then the other one is Believe It or Not, because I just saw this video last night where he did a video called "Why Are Christians So Angry?" and that might resonate with what you're talking about with like how they are talking. Christianity is very angry, and it's got a lot of fear and a lot of like just being like super mad at the world.
Yeah, I think one thing that turns me off, not just from religion in general, or it's more like why I've never like just subscribed to a faith entirely. It's like it's either hey, believe in me, or you're going to suffer for eternity.
Yeah, it seems pretty ridiculous.
Well, I would counter that by saying like, is the God that you imagine, is he going, like you specifically, do you think he's going to give you eternal happiness and your family? I've always wondered after I became an atheist, can heaven, because, okay, I'm going to digress, but my first girlfriend in high school, I came out as bisexual, and I had a girlfriend, and she was very Christian. And one time after we were super hardcore making out, we were talking about religion, as you do. And I told her that I was questioning the belief, and she said, "It makes me really sad to think that you're going to go to hell." And
Well,
from that point on, I wondered, can heaven be truly perfect if you have the knowledge that other people are suffering in hell, or do you just completely forget about those people and your family members that may be suffering in hell and you just have paradise yourself? If so, doesn't sound super great, right?
Yeah. I guess one thing that leans me towards that a God could exist is, and mind you, it could have just been a dream. Now, I'm fully willing to accept that it could have just been a dream.
It was 1000% a dream.
Oh,
I've dreamt that my dead father was alive. So we've all dreamt crazy things.
well, I just want to say, because I say this as in, like, hey, this is just me speaking from experience. You take it however you want. Then this is why I want, this is why I want to believe that a God.
When Muslim people tell you what their experience is, do you believe their God, or do you believe their faith, or are you just about to tell us about your God?
No. I would absolutely love to sit down with a genuine Muslim.
I'm not asking you if you want to sit down with a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. I'm asking you, if a Muslim told me, and many have, that Jahannam is way scarier than Christian hell, would you then fear Allah and turn Muslim? Because I've heard many times over that Jahannam is way scarier than Christian hell. But you don't fear Jahannam, do you? Because you're Christian, right?
I never said I was Christian.
Well, do you fear Jahannam, or do
I
you
don't.
fear hell? Do
No.
you fear the white man's hell, or what?
well, I think Blake is still questioning stuff and just sort of like trying to figure out if it's what is true. So
Yeah,
I don't think.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be aggressive about that. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
it's
Go on.
completely okay. I'm not mad or offended or anything. I'm just, I'm still trying to figure things out. I never even heard of Jahannam. I don't really know that much about, being a Muslim. And that's why I would love to sit down with a Muslim and, talk with them. I would love to know. That's why I bought a Quran, and because I want to read about it. I want to know why Muslims believe what they believe.
Well, I think that Islam is as wild and has a lot of really bad stuff in it. I just flat out, like, I don't know, like, there are certain things with each of the religions, probably each of the three Abrahamic religions at least, that I know of, right? That's sort of like they're kind of like showstoppers. Like, Prophet Muhammad has a child bride, showstopper. Like, that's not going to work for me. Like, that's a super super big red flag that this is not real and it's not good. Yahweh condones slavery or commits genocide, showstopper. Like, this is not gonna work. You got to find a way to make that work. And it's like, I haven't seen a suitable way for it to work. So that's why I'm like, that I think that the Abrahamic religion just is full of nonsense, because it's just got too many things that are like this. If it's true, it's just so wrong. Like, there's no way that I would like subscribe to it.
Yeah, I agree, because well, not fully agree. I'm still trying to think about it. I've kind of dismissed like the Greek mythology or Norse mythology, because that, and I may look into it because I know there are people who do believe in that. I may look into it, but
I really like
I'm
the Greek
sorry.
myths.
but I'm sorry, but Athena, creating the Milky Way with her breast milk is kind of, that what kind of throws me for a loop.
Do you think a woman created from a man's rib is historically accurate?
I've never said it was historically accurate because that get
I'm just, I no, I didn't say you did. I was just asking. We're all talking about different theisms here, and Christianity says donkeys can talk and serpents can talk, and so to me, just personally, it seems like humans created the idea of God well before Yahweh existed, because Brahma, the creator from Hinduism, was written about in Sanskrit long before Hebrew. And so to me, it seems like you just kind of
so
adapt the attributes of God that you want, and which is why there are so many sects of Christianity, for instance, right? Like Catholicism came from, and then like Protestants were like, oh no, they interpreted Jesus wrong. Like hundreds and thousands of years after Jesus existed, people are saying, oh no, you misinterpreted Jesus. They've never met Jesus, but they've felt him and he's in their brain. Like I don't know, man. Like it could just be the same for Muslims, right? Like what if it's just Muhammad and Allah and you chose wrong and you end up in Jahannam with the atheists anyway, right?
yeah, I think because I watched a video. I don't remember his name, the YouTuber's name, but it was essentially describing the history of the God of Yahweh, and it was essentially, oh man, it was like a month ago, and I was like half drunk watching it. Um, I mean that's just me being honest. I was half drunk watching the video, but uh, it was essentially Yahweh at first was this, he wasn't really he was a storm god, essentially in
Mm-hmm.
the Judaic faith. And there was another god who was the god above that, and eventually like Yahweh and that god kind of more like came together
Yeah,
and
that's
Yahweh
my
became
understanding as well. Yeah, I
like
think it's like
Yahweh
El
became
Elyon or whatever is was the original god, and then Yahweh was like his one of his sons or something, and then they morphed into one big
yeah,
god.
they morphed into one big God, and then Yahweh became the all powerful God that we know today to just be God.
I'm pretty sure that that story is in the Old Testament about how God met with a council of other
Mm-hmm.
gods and it he
But,
eventually like merged into one giant god, or I can't
but
remember for sure, but
that, and this is you're teaching me things, and this is me like this is a thought that just came to my brain right now
Mm-hmm.
that goes against what God has said in the Bible is I am God. There has been no other God besides me.
so why would God mention other gods? If he was the only God, why would he even need to say like don't worry about other gods, I'm the only God? Because like if he was legitimately the only God, would humans even ever conceive of another God? Is it a golden calf situation? Because I'm pretty sure Moses was just like smoking that devil's lettuce.
My biggest problem with the concept of like, you know, if you're trying to say like, well, there are no other gods, this is the usual apologetic, right? There are no other gods, they're all demons, and God just means don't put anything before him. So I think there's an issue where I think it's Moses and they bring their staff and then like they're fighting the Egyptians or something in like a Mortal Kombat style, I think. And they're throwing down staffs and making snakes, and the Egyptians are doing magic too, calling on their god. So it's like in the lore, it seems to be at that point there are legitimately multiple gods and they're doing things, and then eventually, I don't know, the Christians just say no, they don't mean that.
I know the argument is that if the other, like gods like Ra and all that are just demons, then I think the argument that I've heard, at least from my other Christian friends, who, mind you, I love my Christian friends. They are great people, at least, because I've known them for about 2 to 3 years. They are some of the greatest people I've ever met. Well,
Mm.
well, one of them. The other one, she has a lot of like
Wait,
issues.
one of them is the greatest.
No, 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 no. Okay, when I say that, and this is this is no disrespect to her. She has a lot of stuff going on, and I've been by her side ever since. You know, I've been a friend for her, and I've seen the worst of her, and I've seen the best of her. So that's why I say she's not the greatest Christian, but
Wait,
I
you
say
sorry, host, you personally know this person's partner?
No, what?
I know. No, no, I know. Yeah, well, she is with another person, but I
Oh.
no, no, I have seen the worst of her. I've seen the best of her, but in my opinion, she is one of the best. She is one of the strongest people I've ever met.
Okay.
And but she also identifies as a Christian, and that's why I say, at least if we're looking at it as a Christian standpoint, she's not the best Christian, but as a person, I think she's a good person.
I want to hear how she's like what makes her a better person than a Christian? Just out of curiosity.
Okay, so the reason I say that, because at least if you look at it in the Christian standpoint, it's don't lust, don't do all these things, don't uh, whatever it is.
Which verse says don't lust?
It's Jesus who says if you even look at I guess it's more towards men, but I guess it stems from like I guess metaphorically it stands for everybody. If you even
Do you
look,
know that Jesus was, when the Romans captured Jesus, that he was hanging around a guy who was wearing only a sheet, and when the Romans grabbed the sheet, he ran away not wearing a sheet? Jesus, and he didn't have a name. That was just the Bible being super messy.
I think it was one of the disciples, was it not?
Nope. It was an unnamed man. The disciples, it was slightly before that verse. That was when Judas said, I'm going to kiss the dude. That's the one you're going to know to capture. And then they were like, Judas walked up to kiss the dude. And then also, they didn't even need to add the verse because he didn't have a name. They were like, also, by the way, there was this man following Jesus who was wearing only a sheet, and the Romans tried to grab him, and the sheet came off, and he ran away not wearing the sheet. That's super in the Bible. Didn't need to be because the man doesn't even have a name, but Jesus loved hanging out with men wearing only sheets, apparently.
I can't. I can't seem to get to the source to change to show the verse, but I can read it. It is interesting. I think it's very weird. Jesus came to a place called Gethsemane and told his disciples, stay here while I go over there and pray. He took Peter and two sons of Zebedee with him, began to be grieved and distressed. And he said, then he said to them, my soul is deeply grieved to the point of death, and remain here, keep watch with me. Where is it? Found them sleeping, keep praying, and what again? Gosh darn it, this isn't even the section yet.
I think the book of John mentions it. I could be wrong.
Oh, is it John?
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
The verse I have is, if you're talking about the man with the sheet, it's Mark 14, 48 through 52.
Yeah. 14. Immediately while still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, came up, accompanied by a crowd with swords and clubs, who were from the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. Now he was betraying him, had given him a kiss signal, saying, whoever I kiss is the one, arrest him and lead him away under guard. And after coming, Judas immediately went to him and said, Rabbi, and kissed him. They laid hands on him and arrested him. But one of those who stood by drew a sword, struck the. Jesus said to them, have you met with swords and clubs every day? 51. A young man was following him, wearing nothing but a linen sheet over his naked body, and they seized him, but he pulled free the linen sheet and escaped naked. It is a very weird note in there.
Like, we don't even know why the writer mentioned that, because they didn't mention his name or like why he was hanging around Jesus. the writer was just like, oh, by the way, Jesus
Yeah.
likes to hang out with dudes who aren't wearing clothes.
So what I heard I want to say it was Bart Ehrman or somebody I was listening to recently was talking about this, and they said what they've heard is that it could be that this was like a well-known person that they didn't want to name names, but they wanted to put it in the text because they'd be like, you all knew who I'm talking about. You know, the kid that's always naked. I think that's a pretty interesting little idea, but it is weird. Why is there a naked kid all around?
I
A
believe,
young man, I guess. I don't know if it's a kid, but
to be honest, every time the name Bart Ehrman comes out, I like a little bit, you know. But
I'm a little tired of it myself.
Yeah, I think this was just like whoever wrote Mark was just like being like really petty about it, and was like, "Hey, remember when you guys like tried to arrest Jesus? Like he also, I don't know."
But
I mean, it's this is definitely stuff like your youth pastor isn't going to tell you about, you know.
One of the other interesting things is how, like, I think the word rabbi didn't come into common usage until well after Jesus' time, and so it's strange when he's called rabbi in the text, because it means that the text has been changed in some way. Either it was written much later. Well, it was written much later after Jesus, right? Like 40 years or something for Mark. But like, it means that these could not have been like the actual words said because they just weren't being used. So that's an interesting kind of like note, I guess.
And I say this, just completely not completely out of context, but I think you both, I would like to, because I know at some point you're going to end the live, so or either I'm going to leave. So I would love to like just have a conversation outside the live where we can say words that we can't say up here.
I don't know.
No, it's entirely up to you.
I got stuff to do. I don't know if I feel very interested.
To be honest, when Shark, to be honest, when you first said that, like I have a bad experience with another like Christian like believer who like slipped into my DMs and was just like wanting to know about my childhood trauma and stuff. And it's
I'm not going to be trying to hit on you. I'm not going to be trying to do anything like that.
No, I'm not asking. Like, here's the other thing though. Like, I was Christian for over 20 years. And one question, what do you think you could tell me about any God alive today? All the ones that humans invented, because it didn't start with Yahweh. No, what do you think you could tell me about any God that would change my mind? I was Christian for longer than you've been alive, probably. No, so
I am not trying to convince you of anything.
I didn't say you were, but like
no. All I want to know is why you believe the way you do.
1 Samuel 15:3.
No, because I agree because
you agree about 1 Samuel 15:3.
Well, not that one. No.
We're gonna talk over people now. Okay.
I don't even know what 1 Samuel
exactly. So why don't we wait until Shark talks about 1 Samuel before you try to comment on it and make excuses for it? I think it would be disingenuous if you tried to make excuses for Bible verses that you've never read before. So Shark sounded like they were looking it up. Yeah. So
that wasn't what I was agreeing with.
Whatever.
Okay, I did look it up, but before that, Blake, there is a pretty cool Discord called Deconstruction Junction. You could probably talk to a lot of people in there about your questions and get a lot of perspectives. But as far as what Pax was referring to, I think you were saying this is the reason you do not believe. 1 Samuel 15:3, now go and strike Amalek and completely destroy everything that he has. Do not spare him. Put to death both man and woman, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey.
I can give the context on that too, about how the war was 400 years earlier and the infants weren't even born at that time, but God wanted them gone. God didn't say adopt the Amalek infants. God said destroy the Amalek infants. And I'm not going to follow that God, even if that God is real. Even if Allah exists and Yahweh exists and Yahweh is better than Allah, I'm not going to bend my knee. If he forces me to, that's against my free will. I can't do anything about that, but I'm not going to worship a God who says the infant's got to go because 400 years earlier, the Amaleks tried to start a war.
Well, and what's even crazier is how it's like in stark contrast to turn the other cheek, right? Where essentially like God is giving you two different commands. He's saying sometimes we're going to destroy people completely, and so, like for things that don't matter, basically, and sometimes you're going to just let people just do whatever they want to you, and it just becomes incredibly hard to know what God would do because they say Jesus is God, and so it becomes hard to know which is.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. They say Jesus says turn the other cheek. And I just have been like collecting Bible verses about how first of all, Jesus lied to his apostles and said that he would return from heaven before they all passed away. And they literally unalived, believing that he would come back before they did. And that was a lie. Like, Jesus told people to hate their mother and father. He's like, you cannot love your mother and father. You have to love me. And he said, I came to turn mother against father, brother again. Like Jesus has said some. And he told a parable once about like slaying people at his feet who would not call him king, and they're like, "Oh, that's just a parable." Okay, what are we supposed to learn from that parable? You know.
So this is just to explain what I meant earlier when I said I agree. What I meant when I said when I agree was that I agree that other like things in the Bible don't really make sense because according to the Bible,
Well, have you read the entire Bible, or are you just like making excuses for it because you want to believe in the God of the Bible?
No, I don't think you heard what Blake said. I think Blake said he agrees that it doesn't make sense.
no, and
Right.
but the reason I say that is because according to the New Testament, at least I believe it's in Acts.
Jesus said, do not let one word of the Mosaic law pass until heaven is gone. I can give you the verse for that too. I have to look it up, but if you need it, I will give you that verse.
Okay, Pax, I say this with all due respect. I only say this because you said it before. You complained about me cutting you off, so please
Did
do not.
Jesus say keep the Mosaic laws, yes or no?
In the New Testament, yes, he did. But
Yes, Jesus said to keep all the 600 something Mosaic laws. So we're not going to talk about, oh, that was the Old Testament, because in the New Testament, Jesus said, you got to follow all those laws and me.
again,
I can give you the verse if you need it.
again,
Again, I can give you the
no,
verse if you need it.
I never said I was a Christian.
I didn't say you were either, but you are here defending Christ. Like, it's
No,
like,
I'm not trying to defend Christ. I'm just.
do you need the verse or no?
I'm a little
You were
confused
sitting
about
here
what's going on.
telling me you were saying that like the Old Testament laws are like those are back in the day. We don't have to follow those because God's objective morality changes nowadays. And then when I pointed out a verse to you where the New Testament says that you should follow all of the Old Testament laws, you were like, "Oh, well, all of a sudden I don't believe that part of the Bible."
When did I say that?
Do you believe the part of the Bible where Jesus says to follow all of the Mosaic laws?
I'm just saying. I'm trying to.
Do you believe the part in the Bible where Jesus says to follow all the Mosaic laws? It's a
That
yes or no.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm not saying I'm Christian.
Then why would you not go read? Why are you here? Go read the Bible then.
I have read the Bible.
I think Blake was
Then
just
why do
looking
you not
for
remember this part?
perspectives.
I'm just looking for perspectives because if we're going by the New Testament, I'm damned to hell altogether. Because a verse in the New Testament says, if you know the truth and you keep keep deliberately sinning, then guess what? There's no more sacrifice for you to have.
What if the New Testament and the Old Testament don't match? What if the New Testament or the Old Testament says to do something different? What if your pastor didn't tell you about the verse that I'm about to read?
I hardly listen to pastors anyway.
You hardly read the Bible too, right?
I've read most of the Old Testament. Not the Old Testament, New Testament.
So we're about to read the New Testament. Does Jesus know which one of us has read more of the New Testament and studied more of the New Testament?
According to what Christian belief is, yes.
Okay. And just full disclosure, how old are you? I was Christian maybe as long as you've been alive at least.
Yes, I'm 21 years old.
Yeah, I was Christian as long as you've been alive. I've been not Christian for almost as long as you've been alive. We're going to read your Bible. That used to be my Bible. Do not think, and this is the New Testament, Matthew 5, by the way, which your pastor won't tell you, but I know you haven't read. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. And that's where usually Christians stop. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, nor the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Therefore, who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches others accordingly will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Do you eat bacon?
I most certainly do.
Oh no, Jesus doesn't want you, my dude. He also said he only came for the lost sheep of Israel, but that's a different verse.
And I have read all of the Gospels. I have read the Gospels.
So you know the verse where he said that, and
I do.
You still needed me to read it to you?
I can't quote verse for verse. I haven't memorized the Bible.
Do you remember the story of Amalek? Because when I read the story of Amalek, it stuck in my brain forever. I don't have to remember the verse. I have to go and look up the verse sometimes. But I remembered the story because God said, I don't care if those babies weren't alive when you attacked Israel. I want those babies gone.
That's in the Old Testament, correct?
What does Jesus say? Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I just read this. Tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. So don't come here pretending that you've read the Bible. I was Christian longer than you, and the reason I stopped being Christian was because I sat down and read the Bible instead of listening to what the pastor and priests told me.
I have never once said I read the entire Bible.
Of course you haven't. It's very clear you haven't.
That's
if
why.
You read reading the entire Bible makes an atheist, I'll tell you that. Wait until you read 2 Kings when a bunch of kids called Elisha bald and he sent two bears to maul them to death. Like, I don't think you're going to imagine what it looks like for a bear to rip a child apart, but in my head, that seems pretty gruesome, and I wouldn't worship a God who does that.
That's why I'm looking for different perspectives. Sure.
Get away from Christianity. Make up your own God if you have to, but don't follow this one. He's a war god who loves eating children.
But I mean, at the same time, I'm trying to keep an open mind. I'm listening to Christian arguments.
About Amalek? You're trying to keep an open mind about children? Dashing children?
Yeah,
I'm trying to keep.
I think the question comes down to like, if even if this God is real, why would you serve it? Like, to me, that is the ultimate question. I think that the God just doesn't make sense whenever I get to the point of like, what if the God's real? Like, but there's so many things to say that's not. But if somehow, against all odds, it would just be like, this is a crazy God that like doesn't. I will just go to hell. Like, I don't care. It's not worth my dignity. It's not worth my my own principles to like follow somebody just because they are powerful.
And I agree.
So I think like the open mind thing, like I just don't know where the open mind would get you, because you just have to basically give up principles to say, well, okay, sometimes it's okay to do these things.
To be honest, I kept an open mind about hell for years after I was just deconstructing. And I remember asking multiple people, well after I didn't believe in a God, aren't you afraid of what happens after you're gone? And enough people told me like, no, like I'm alive now. I'm not worried about that. That I started realizing like, oh, I don't have to fear this thing that I was told my entire life that I'm supposed to fear. I don't have to get that coal in my stocking. I can just live my life how I want to live it and not have to obey these like archaic rules.
Pax and Blake, I feel like we've been maybe ganging up on you. Blake, do you mind if I bring up another person that looks like they might be a Christian? Do you all want to talk to? We can have like a panel discussion then.
No, I'm completely okay with that. I mean, I'm not even saying I'm Christian. I'm just
Sure.
trying to learn.
But like Pax and I obviously have a position, and like regardless of yours. Facts for God, are you over 18?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. What do you want to talk about?
So I'm seeing that it says Christianity makes no sense, and I just want to. I heard somebody saying that they're deconstructing. Are they deconstructed based on the hell doctrine? And I just feel like a lot of people deconstruct and move away from things due to not diving deep enough into what things actually mean, because they actually never believed in a hell as the Greek mythology or Dante's Inferno type of hell, but it was just like a graveyard. It was Sheol, Hades, and the Gehenna was just like a valley outside of outside of Henna.
Do you think it's eternal? Do you think it's an eternal torment?
No, there's no such thing as eternal torment type of thing.
Okay. So, Pax, I think that was specifically what you were talking about, so I don't know if you want to address what they're saying, but
I mean, I have no idea. Like, obviously, Dante created the modern day conception of hell. What do you want me to respond to?
Well, yeah. Well, not only that, with the Greek mythology, with Christianity overall, they adopted, and I'm talking about mainstream Christian. I'm a Christian, but not the mainstream. Mainstream Christians.
You're not like other Christians. Oh, cool, very cool. Okay.
I'm not mainstream, so
Nice,
I don't hold.
nice.
So with these mainstream ideas, they adopted things like Christmas, all these pagan practices.
And you don't follow that, right? Even though the atheists celebrate Christmas, you do not, right?
Yeah, I do not follow any of these holidays.
let me tell you this. Despite what you don't believe, the things you do believe, they'll still not make any sense. Regardless of what branch or whatever you've made up about Christianity in your head or made it work for you, it's all going to be cognitive dissonance.
Well, let's try it out. Let's see.
Try it out.
Can I give you some of my beliefs of Christian? As a Christian?
Wait, you want to give us belief of what? If you giving us belief of Christians is going to disprove Christians, why are you here? We already don't believe in Christianity. If you're a Christian, you don't want to disprove Christianity, right?
No, I wasn't saying disproving. I was saying because he said
So
my views.
if you could just say
No, I'm talking about the host. No, the
Yeah,
host.
I'm a woman.
She.
Huh?
I'm a trans woman. Please
Oh,
refer
okay.
to me in like she, her pronouns if you could.
Gotcha. So, as far as my beliefs, I was addressing her. She was saying that my beliefs wouldn't make sense either way. So I was saying, would you like to hear some of my views as a Christian to see if that's true?
We could probably do that, and I bet if we drill into them, they'll become like pretty nonsensical.
Yeah. So, me as a Christian, I believe we have to keep the law for one. I don't believe Jesus is God. I do believe he's one of
How
his
long have
sons.
you been Christian?
2017.
And
So
so you're a Christian who does not believe in Christ? Just to be clear, Jesus
no, I,
Christ.
no, I never said that. I don't believe that
Oh,
he's
you just don't
God.
believe Christ was God. Okay, got it. Sorry.
Yes, I don't believe that he's God. I don't believe that God is everywhere or knows all things or can do all things. I don't believe in
Doesn't it
eternal
contradict a
torture.
lot of verses
Which
about
part?
God?
Which part?
Any of the Omni stuff. Verse, God knows all.
No, so omni. So that based on his omnipresence or lack of, Jesus tells us our Father who is in heaven. He
Who
doesn't say our
said
Father who
lack
is
of, though? You
No,
said
me.
lack of.
Yeah,
no,
talking about me.
The book says he has omnipresence, and you're just like, okay, no, but no, he doesn't, and this is what he does.
I say this in a very like completely respectable way. Jesus says clearly, what's the exact verse? Before Abraham was, I am, and
So
and Yahweh in the Old Testament when he's speaking to Moses, when Moses asks what his name is, he says, I am. That's what he
so
says. So Jesus is saying when he clearly, because Yahweh, when he was giving the tablets to Moses, he wrote his finger in the ground. And Jesus also, when he was surrounded by the adulterous woman and all the Pharisees in the group, Jesus also wrote in the ground. And he said, before Abraham was, I am. And mind you, I'm saying this as not a guy who is atheist, agnostic. I'm just trying to figure it out. But
Do
that is
you remember when Jesus was caught by the Romans and he had that a half schmaged guy and the Romans stole his sheet and he ran away schmaged? Like, Jesus loved dudes, man. He was a dude man. He only hung out with dudes most of the time.
all right. So as far as his lack of, because when I'm saying lack, I'm talking about my beliefs. As far as his lack of omnipresence, Jesus tells us our Father who is in heaven. So we know that where his location is. He's not everywhere. He's not in the strip club. He's not in the bar. He's in heaven. So that's one thing.
Has
What
anyone ever
about
told you that Jesus is in a strip club or in a bar? Or did the pastor tell you that some people might tell you that? What?
No, the ones that say he's everywhere, he would have to be in the strip club. He would have to be in the bar. He would have to be everywhere.
Oh, so we all agree that Jesus is not in my house right now, right?
well, that's what they're saying. Yeah, he does not
Okay.
think that. But as far as
Okay.
like knowing everything, this verse here says that he knows everything. So is the verse wrong?
No. So it's contextual. It's like basic grammar. So, for example, if I was talking to somebody and I told them, "You're going to do good on the test," you know, all things. It's all based on the context of what was being discussed.
I'm
So,
so basic
Wait,
grammar. What's the highest grade you completed? Just out of curiosity.
I'm a nurse.
So in what?
I will say this, not to cut anybody off, but I will drop off here real quick. Just I
okay,
hope everybody
okay.
here has a good day. I hope y'all have a great life. Just,
Yeah, I don't know how to get you to it, but look for the deconstruction junction, and you could talk to a lot of people in there about your questions. I think that'd probably be a good place to go.
I think there is a.
I appreciated your conversation.
I
Thank you
appreciated
for being
yours. You
here.
gave me some. You educated me and you gave me some insight that I will think of.
Have a good night.
You as well.
And then he brought up earlier. He said that Jesus said, "I am," and he went back to Exodus 3:14. So God never said, "I am that I am." In the Hebrew, it's Haya Asher Haya, which is "I will be that I will be." He was just telling Moses that he would be with Moses when he was going to go free the Israelites.
So we all have to follow Mosaic law, right? And you are not wearing mixed fabrics at all right now. We agree, right?
The mixed fabrics that we're not supposed to wear is
wait, guys. Wait, guys. The mixed fabrics are cool. Hang on, guys. The mixed fabrics are cool. What? Sorry. So you are definitely wearing mixed fabrics right now, but you don't like dudes, right?
The mixed fabrics that we're not supposed to wear woven together are linen and wool based off the Hebrew.
So what mixed fabrics are you currently wearing, my dude?
No, I'm saying based off the Hebrew law.
I'm asking, no, I'm not asking about Hebrew law. I'm asking you to check your tag, man, and tell me what your fabrics are made out of.
But I follow Hebrew law, though. So.
No, you don't. I want you to show us your tag right now. You are literally wearing some polyester.
We can wear polyester. The mixed fabrics that we cannot wear is
polyester is a mixed fabric.
The mixed fabrics that we cannot wear woven
together.
Polyester
is a plastic, and plastics need to be mixed to be created.
The mixed fabrics that we're not able to wear, according to the law of Moses, is linen and wool.
Linen and wool are both pure fabrics. Wool is made entirely from a sheep, and linen, some papyrus bamboo shit, I don't know. But both linen and wool are both purely made fabrics. I think God would prefer if you wore linen and wool strictly, but instead you're wearing some polyester right now with some Nikes, man. Come on.
We're not supposed to wear linen and wool woven together.
That's not true.
This is what I read.
Linen and wool are what you are. What? Name the verse. Name the verse.
I have the verse. This is what I'm reading. It says, hold on, I need to
read it in the Hebrew. Just if you read that,
read it in the Hebrew. You don't speak Hebrew.
If you go back to the Hebrew,
hold on. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that the translations are getting it wrong? They just don't understand what the Hebrew says?
If it says mixed fabrics in the English,
it does not. But I asked you a particular question.
She asked a question.
So I'm asking, are the translations just getting it wrong? They don't know the Hebrew, but you do?
They're getting it right, but to get understanding of the mixed fabrics, if you go to the Hebrew on that verse...
Why would they get that wrong, though? I understand that you're saying that the verse says something different. Why do you think that it's different?
No, I'm not saying wrong. I'm saying to get understanding of the mixed fabrics that it's talking about.
Do you know how translations work?
Hold on. If you go
Name the word for mixed fabrics in Hebrew, bro.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
You can't. You don't know the word for mixed fabrics in Hebrew.
It doesn't say mixed fabrics in the book that I can see. It says,
that's what I'm...
Nor shall you put on a garment made of two different materials. So this is going to be the crux of the issue, right? You're arguing that this actually says specific things in the Hebrew and that's what it intends. I am arguing that the translation is showing you what it intends. If you're telling me that this translation, that the people that study this, the people that translated this from Hebrew got it wrong, that they don't understand what it intends, I'm going to need to see a source for that.
Well, that's only one version, the NRSV.
Yes.
If you go to the Hebrew verse of this verse, it's going to say linen and wool in Hebrew.
Why would I think that this translation is misunderstanding the actual intent of the verse? Do you know what I'm saying?
Do not speak Hebrew. You don't speak Hebrew.
Regardless of that, He may be correct that the Hebrew says something different. It doesn't matter to me. It's just like with Japanese, right? When something is translated, sometimes there are cultural differences or things that don't make sense to us. And so they have to translate it to make it like more appropriate to what the intent was. I believe that's what's happening here. That it's saying what the intent is. Don't mix fabrics. You're telling me it's saying don't mix these two particular things. I need to know why I should believe that particular reading of it rather than what the translators have done.
Because you should so the translators in this verse, they're not going into the specifics, the details, but if you
So
want
what I
more
said is just
information-
not what happened. You're saying they don't do that. They don't actually look at the context and figure out what it means and try to translate it to be like the intent of it. You're saying they do something else entirely.
on this verse, correct. On this version, yes. They're not going into the details of it saying
Is there a
linen and
different
wool.
translation besides just reading the Hebrew words directly that you
Like
think?
when I want it to say something, it says something? What?
Yeah, there's many translations, and there's some that do
There's
say
many
linen and wool.
translations. Which one do you follow?
I follow the NIV and the Hebrew.
But
The
you don't speak
NIV?
Hebrew. Do you
NIV
speak
and
Hebrew
Hebrew.
or ancient Hebrew? Have you studied any of that, or has someone just told you this is what the Hebrew says?
Definitely studying the Hebrew.
Okay, so why are you
The NIV, do not wear clothing woven of two kinds of material.
Yeah, correct. So if you go to the Hebrew of this verse, you'll see that it says
Do you
linen and
uh,
wool.
do you think Jewish
I guess I
people
have to
are
pay.
lying when when they're still waiting for the Messiah?
No, they're waiting
Since
for
you speak Hebrew and all, do you think Jewish people are lying to you because they're still waiting for Yahweh to come?
I wouldn't say they're lying because I believe I'm waiting for somebody as well too. We're all waiting for somebody.
Okay, so your God already came, but the world is still bad?
I don't believe the world is supposed to get better.
You don't think the world's bad?
No, get better. It's not going to get better.
Oh, you think the world's great right now. So when I was praying to Jesus for 15 years for the essay to stop, that was great in your eyes, right? God had that all locked in.
I didn't say it's good.
I didn't say it was good either, but you were the one who said it's what do you want the world to be? Do
really doesn't matter what I
Shmogorle
want.
babies go to heaven, or can God have just not put us here in the first place?
Here's the interesting
I've
part
told
of
my mom multiple times that I wished I was one of her Shmobortians.
okay.
I didn't get to choose that. That was not my free will. So
I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry that you went through all that trouble.
I'm still going through that trouble, by the way. Should I unalive myself, or I'm here? So, what? I did not choose to be here. That was my mom wanting to pass on her genetics with my dad and stuff. That's what.
I believe what you went through is traumatic, but I believe forgiveness is the first step.
Did Jesus see me in church every week asking for it to stop? Or you don't think he did? You don't think when I was younger I was trying hard enough to pray for it to stop? Just asking for a friend.
I believe we all need to go through, or not all.
I didn't ask what we all need to go through. I asked you a very specific question. I did not ask you what we need to go through because to be honest, that when I was 5 and 6 years old was the start of everything. First of all, did God give me genetic cancer even though I was indoctrinated into Christianity from birth? Was my genetic cancer Eve's fault?
Variables. So in life,
Variables. What variables was I dealt that I should worship your God?
No, what you said, you had cancer. So variables that got you cancer could be based off
genetic. I said genetic cancer. PAL B2. You can look it up. PAL B2 is passed on through the genes. Every woman in my family has it, and I was one of two. My aunt also had the cancer, but I had to get a double mastectomy because of it. So you're not going to tell me that it was my diet or anything because it's genetic. You can look up the PALB2 gene before you sit here and try to tell me some anti-science stuff.
I was giving you variables, but yeah, it can be
Variable
genetic.
what? What variable? The variable of my genes?
Can I respond?
No, tell me what variable you think you were giving.
Well, you gave us the variable. You said genetics.
And you said genetics wasn't a variable?
That is a variable.
Okay, so all of a sudden it is great. So God created the variables, right? Or did he let Satan do it?
Variables take place based off multiplicity of things, based off of.
What the hell does that? I'm not gonna let you talk some Filbert shit. What the hell does variables depend on some multiplicity of things? No. Define multiplicity before you go on.
It's like more than one thing.
No, define it with a dictionary definition, not your feelings, bro.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I know you're in the middle of something. I gotta go. I have to go. I'm very sorry.
You're fine. Have a good one.
Okay, I gotta go do some errands and stuff. I'm sorry. Thank you, Pax, for coming up. Thank you.
Have a good night, Shark.
Thanks,
Have a multiplicity. I love you.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Let's see. I don't know if I need to like drop people before ending. Okay, goodbye everyone. Thank you all for coming by. Thank you so much for the gifts. I think I missed some gifts, in fact, and I'm going to read them off really quick. Giuseppe, thank you so much for the donuts. Tahir gave me a donut as well. The Ethereal Embers gave me a heart me and finger heart, and Pax finger heart, and Kid of Paper sent Pax Rosa. Thank you so much for all these things. Daniel, Jesus does not exist, but I
feeding 500 people